It was 3:03 in the morning. The countryside was silent. No witnesses. No traffic. No lights. Just a speeding train carrying millions in cash. And within minutes, it would become the most famous train robbery in history. This is the true story of the 1963 Great Train Robbery. The crime that shocked Britain, embarrassed the police, and turned ordinary criminals into global legends. The early 1960s in Britain felt safe. Predictable. Calm. Crime existed, of course, but nothing like what was about to happen. Every night, a special Royal Mail train travelled from Glasgow to London. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't secret. But inside its carriages sat unimaginable wealth. Cash from banks across Scotland was loaded into sealed sacks. Millions of pounds in small notes. No armoured trucks. No high-security vaults. Just a train and trust. The route had one critical weakness. A lonely stretch of track in rural Buckinghamshire. Dark fields. No nearby towns. Perfect for a robbery. Someone noticed. And that someone was Bruce Reynolds. Reynolds wasn't violent. He wasn't reckless. He was something more dangerous. He was patient. He believed the perfect crime wasn't about speed or force. It was about planning. And he began planning the biggest robbery Britain had ever seen. Reynolds assembled a team of experienced criminals. Safe breakers. Drivers. Insiders. Lookouts. 15 men in total. Each had a role. Each had one rule. No guns. No killing. No mistakes. They spent months studying railway schedules. Watching the Royal Mail trains. Timing every stop, every signal, every shift change. They learned one crucial detail. The train always slowed at a specific signal near the village of Cheddington. A red light meant the train must stop. So they asked a simple question: what if the red light wasn't real? August 8, 1963. The gang moved into position just after midnight. They wore dark clothing and gloves. Their equipment was simple. Bolt cutters, ropes, crowbars, and one fake railway signal. They climbed a signal post and covered the green light. Then they connected a battery, forcing the light to glow red. Miles away, the Royal Mail train was racing south toward London. Inside the train were over £2 billion in today's money. The driver had no idea he was heading into a trap. At 3:03 a.m., the train approached the signal. The red light glowed in the darkness. The driver followed protocol and slammed the brakes. The train screeched to a halt. Seconds later, masked men appeared from the shadows. They stormed the locomotive. The driver, stunned and terrified, was forced to the ground. The gang uncoupled the train car carrying the money. Then they drove the engine forward to a bridge where their trucks waited. Everything was moving perfectly, until one mistake changed everything. The gang couldn't operate the train properly, so they forced the driver to move it himself. He resisted. He hesitated. And in the chaos, he was struck in the head. He survived, but the violence shocked the nation. The robbery had crossed a line. Now the clock was ticking. The gang formed a human chain. Mail sacks were thrown from the train into waiting trucks. Sack after sack after sack. Cash everywhere. In total, £2.6 million. At the time, the largest cash robbery the world had ever seen. It took just 15 minutes. 15 minutes to rewrite criminal history. Then the gang disappeared into the night. By sunrise, Britain exploded into panic. Headlines screamed across newspapers. The Royal Mail had been robbed. The police had been humiliated. And the public couldn't believe it. How could such a massive crime happen without anyone stopping it? The investigation became the biggest manhunt in British history. Led by Scotland Yard. Hundreds of officers. Thousands of leads. But the robbers had already made another mistake. A fatal one. The gang hid at a countryside farmhouse called Leatherslade Farm. They believed it was remote, safe, temporary. They counted the money, celebrated, relaxed. They even played Monopoly using real cash. And then they left in a hurry. What they didn't do was clean. Fingerprints covered the house. Food, bottles, newspapers, board games. It was a forensic goldmine. Within weeks, arrests began. One by one, the robbers were captured. Trials followed. Sentences were brutal. Some received 30 years in prison. The public demanded punishment. The government demanded justice. But the story wasn't over, because some of the robbers escaped. Ronnie Biggs became the most famous fugitive of them all. He escaped prison and fled the country. Brazil, Australia, Spain. He lived decades on the run, giving interviews, becoming a celebrity criminal, turning crime into fame. And the legend of the Great Train Robbery grew larger every year. The robbery changed Britain forever. Security was tightened. Cash transport was redesigned. Police investigation methods evolved. It marked the end of a more innocent era. The moment Britain realized crime could be organized, planned, and terrifyingly successful. But even today, one question remains. Was it genius or greed? The robbers stole millions, but lost their freedom, their families, their lives. And the train robbery became a warning etched into history. The perfect crime rarely stays perfect, because sooner or later, every trail leads somewhere, and every legend has a price.